following is a Learfield presentation of the Blue Devils Sports Network. Live from GRUB Durham.
Jackson on the right. Around a Fournier screen, going to fire a right wing three. Give it to her.
This is the Duke Women's Basketball Radio Show.
Goes to work, spins up a shot, count it, and a chance for three. Strong take by Donovan.
Our coverage of Duke Women's Basketball is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Crisp, refreshing, and irresistibly tasty. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide. Alongside head coach Carol Lawson, here's the voice of Duke Women's Basketball, Chris Edwards.
Welcome to GRUB and our latest Carol Lawson show of the season. It is so great to have you with us tonight here on the Blue Devil Sports Network and on our social media channels. Coach, chilly one out there tonight. A little snow when you're coming up too, right?
It has been a cold winter for us here.
It has.
Yeah. So that's all right.
But good to be back at GRUB and a lot of good things to talk about. Your team has won 3 consecutive games. Big week last week. Wins over Stanford and Cal. Then the win over Virginia the week before. As you take kind of an overview of where the team is at heading into a couple road games this week, what do you make of where your team is at kind of from a 35,000-foot view?
I'm pleased with the week that we had. Two good teams coming into Cameron, Cal and Stanford, and both of them, presented different types of problems. Although they both shot it well from the three, and had a lot of players that could knock down three-point shots. So I was pleased with our defensive performance again. The second straight week, I've been really pleased with us on the defensive end, and then it was nice in both games to see our offense get back on track. And like I said, we just had a week where we shot it poorly. That's what it was. I mean, we're a good offensive team. The numbers say so. And obviously it gets harder in league play to be efficient and to score a ton because everybody knows you really well. But I thought we had two pretty good offensive nights as well.
I want to talk about the offense a little bit later, but I want to spend the first part of our time together talking about defense. And you mentioned a team played a really good defense this past week. What do you make of just the play on that? And not just this past week, but maybe over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Seems like your team is really improving in that area.
I think it's just a natural evolution of a team growing and gelling and getting together at the same time. And obviously, we had a lot of returners from a year ago, but where they're playing and how we need them to play is a little bit different. And now there's just different rotations. We have played these schemes a little earlier, or I should say before. We've played some of these schemes before, so I think just the extra reps for them to understand like, oh yeah, we're playing this like this player, we're playing this team like that team, and now they have that recall, and I think it's also their competitiveness and their desire to work hard and to play with great effort on that end. I mean, we could come up as a coaching staff, we could come up with a fantastic scheme. If they don't play with great effort, it doesn't matter what we come up with. Right? They're the ones that have to execute. So we're just lucky that we have a group of players that plays really hard and tries to execute what we're asking them to do.
In terms of playing with intensity on the defensive end, I think we talked about that last week. Is that something that can be taught? Is it something that is learned? Or is that just a skill where you're just going to go hard all the time?
Both. I think there's some people that come into college and they have that. I think Lucci's the easy example, right? Yeah. Like to say like she came in and she's worked hard every day since she's been here. And then some players they have it in them, but it comes and goes. And so you're trying to get it to come more often and be there more often.
Sure.
And so I think there's both. But to think that every player you ever coach is going to come in and have that be a finished product from an effort standpoint every single day is probably a little naive. I think that's why you're a coach. Your job is to get them to play at that high level of effort as much as possible.
Outside of just playing hard and getting stops, are there metrics that you look at that judge success of a defense?
Oh, sure. Like statistics you want?
Yeah, or just in general.
Well, I mean, I think points per possession is probably
the most.
Yeah. I mean, offensive points per possession or defensive points per possession. I mean, for defensive end, it'd be defensive points per possession. Because that accounts for, whether you play a lot of possessions or not a few possessions. So I would say that, like the scoring defense is not no, and defensive field goal percentage has some static in it. So I would say that steals and blocks don't mean much.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You did have a season high 9 blocks though on Sunday.
We did?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Is some of that just being in the right place defensively from a schematic standpoint?
I do think that. I do think blocks and steals occur when can occur when you're in the right place. It's not they will not always occur if you're in the right place, but they can occur more frequently if you're in the right place. So yes, if we're in the right place, body position is good, blocks and steals, you'll kind of gather some of those in that way.
Well, what about the way your team is turning other teams over? 20 turnovers on Sunday, forced 31 against Cal on Thursday, combined for 25 steals in those 2 games too. Can you just kind of speak to the active nature of the defense?
It never feels like that.
Really?
In the game. I mean, it feels like we're pressuring, but
Sure.
I never think like, oh, we forced 31 turnovers. And then I look at the box score and I'm like, whoa, what team did that? I think we just play with a great aggression, and they competitive, and they want to get the ball back, and they play hard. And I guess that happens some of the time. We honestly do not. I mean, I can't remember any time in practice that I've said like, "Hey, let's force turnovers." Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe there's been a time. I don't think I rarely say that. I'm more concerned with us not turning it over. But I do say like pressure, disrupt, make things difficult. And a byproduct of that, some of the time, is turnovers. Some of the time it's not. It might just be a bad shot or a missed shot. Some of the time you can do all that right and then make the shot anyway. I mean, but I don't know. I just don't feel like we play to like force turnovers.
Sure.
But that might sound silly to people. But I don't think I've ever said to them like, go get a steal. We just say like pressure, make it hard. And then the steals happen.
And it seems to fuel your offense, too, whether it's a bad shot, whether it's a steal, whether it's a turnover. It seems to be able to fuel your offense, especially in transition.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a possession game. So the more, it's math, right? Like the more possessions you get, if you consistently get more possessions than your opponent, you have a greater likelihood of winning the game. Because if you consistently get more possessions than your opponent, you probably are scoring more than your opponent. And what are the ways that you can get extra possessions? One is win the turnover battle. So if you can win the turnover battle, you can get extra possessions. You can get offensive rebounds. We do that really well. So that's another way for us to get extra possessions. So you're trying to like tilt the math in your favor. When you play basketball, it doesn't guarantee that you'll win. But, if you can get X number of possessions more than the other team every single night, then you create kind of a mathematical advantage for your team that if you're not perfect or you're not as efficient on a given night as another team, you can still win the game.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back to Grub and have more with Coach after this on the Blue Devil Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Going to hoist up a 3. How about another dagger?
This is Duke head women's basketball coach Kara Lawson. When it comes to keeping our team healthy, we turn to the team at Duke Sports Medicine. They offer full-service sports medicine care at locations throughout the Triangle, where you can see the same experts used by Duke Athletics. Make an appointment or learn more at dukehealth.org/sportsmedicine. Go Duke.
The crowd will rise as one, and what a statement, and what a win.
Whether you're in the market for a new boat or just need service or accessories for an existing boat, turn to Overby Marine. Now with 2 locations in Kittrell and Lake Gaston, Overby Marine offers the highest quality of marine products and services, including the latest from Sea Ray, Centurion, Avalon, Bennington, as well as Cobalt boats. Overby Marine also offers the largest selection of parts in the region, along with full-service facilities at their 2 locations. Stop by or give them a call at 252-586-3593 or online at overbymarine.com. Overby Marine. Don't let adventure pass you by.
'Tis the season for family and friends 'Tis the season for gifting, and 'tis the season for making holiday dreams come true. 'Tis the season for using the old-timey contraction "tis." And 'tis the time of year for holiday scratch-offs. With over $85 million in total prizes, 'tis the best gift of all.
'Tis the season to gift endless joy with holiday scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.06 to 9.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
We're back at GRUB as the Kara Lawson Show continues on this Tuesday night. Thanks so much for joining us. Forgot what day it was. Coach, we were talking about defense a minute ago, and you talked about schemes and playing some of the same schemes multiple times. Does that help maybe now as you get into the ACC, you can turn the page more quickly from a Thursday to a Sunday because some of the schemes come more familiar?
I think it just allows us to not have to do as many reps. Or allows us to have the freedom to change the scheme from a Thursday to a Sunday because we know that they're capable because it's something that they can recall from a little bit ago. It also, changing schemes sometimes happens in the game. So we may, not like how an opponent is exploiting us in a certain way and want to change the scheme at a timeout or change it at halftime. So having a team that has played different types of ways defensively. When I say different types of ways, still talking about man-to-man, but you play man-to-man different types of ways. It might all look one way out there because I know they're pressuring, but I promise we're doing some things differently out there.
Are there little subtle things maybe that you're doing different that probably we won't be able to tell, like the average fan wouldn't be able to tell?
I don't know if it's that subtle.
Okay.
Like you can play a ball screen different ways. I mean, when players come off ball screens, sometimes the post player could be trapping it. Sometimes they could be like anywhere from trapping to all the way in a drop coverage, which would be like way off. Like the way Stanford was playing, we would consider like a drop, like all the way off.
Yeah.
Deep drop. So that whole spectrum, you can change the depth of that, right? So they could be all the way in deep drop, or they could be all the way at the point of the screen trapping, and anywhere in between. And so depending on the team, the player, and a scheme can change based off the player that's coming off the screen or the player that's screening.
Okay.
That can change the scheme. So you just have to decide, if a player that's coming off the screen, you want to play them a certain way, then you'll do that. If the screener, you're worried about them, then you might play the screen a different way because you're worried about the screener. It just depends on what you want. I don't know that that's subtle.
Sure.
I mean, maybe subtle for the average fan. But not a basketball person could see it. I mean, anybody can see it. Like we don't have magic eyes or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think you just need to be taught it, and then you could see it. You could see it and understand it very quickly. It's not rocket science.
Obviously, there are some similarities, but just kind of for the novice, what's the difference if you're guarding somebody on the ball versus off the ball? What are the biggest differences as a player on ball defense versus off ball defense?
Well, on ball defense, obviously, I mean, it's stuff you learned when you were young, right? Like stay between your player and the basket when you're on the ball, I think is the first core principle of it. So don't let them buy you.
Yeah.
Easier said than done when it's either a super athletic player, now they're hard to keep in front because they're really athletic, or B, very skilled player. Because a skilled player can maneuver with the ball and get around you and make reads and see that. And then if they're, see both, whoa, that's tough.
Yeah.
So I would say stay between your man on the ball and on ball. Off ball, always know where the ball is and always know where your player is. And that's hard. Just focus on two things at once is difficult. And so there's a challenge there of, and then there's a corresponding spot on the floor you should be based off of where the ball is and where your player is. And every ball player, wherever they are, there's always a corresponding spot you're supposed to be. So the first thing is learning what spot that is. At first coming, you have to say okay, if the ball is there and your player's here, where are you supposed to be? there's a spot. So the first thing we teach is like, they got to know all the spots. Okay, now that they know all the spots, now they've got to know their body position in those spots because it changes. Body position changes based on where you are on the floor, what your ideal body position is. And then, obviously, the offense that's being run, are you off the ball and there's a ball screen, there's a certain thing you're supposed to do. If you're off the ball and there's a cut, there's a certain thing you're supposed to do. Off the ball, there's a drive, there's a pass. And so there's a infinite number of combinations of things that can happen. And then they all happen in different sequences. It's like, it could be a ball screen first and then a cut and then a drive, or it could be a drive first and then a ball screen and then a cut. There's a lot. They're very smart. The players are very smart. I mean, you guys know that, but like they're very smart and to be able to process all of these things instantly. And then all of that, you have to play instinctively. So which means you can't be thinking about those things. You have to know those things and then play off your instincts. So that's the process of like becoming a really good defensive player and becoming a really good defensive team, is getting them past the like, where am I supposed to be? To, okay, I know where I'm supposed to be. Okay, now play. And you want them to play.
Take a time out. We'll come back and have more from Coach at GRUB here on the Blue Devil Sports Network from Learfield.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
Are we still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown bar district.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up home. Drop off downtown bar district.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
For any surface and every season, Continental Tire is the smart choice in tires. From ultra-high performance tires like the Extreme Contact Sport 02 to passenger touring tires to all-terrain light truck tires like the Terrain Content AT, Continental has a tire that gives you confidence no matter the road conditions. Whether you're looking for summer, all-season, or winter tires, Continental Tire has something to fit your needs. Visit ContinentalTire.com to find your ideal tire. Continental Tire, a proud partner of the Duke Blue Devils.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Are you ready to show your Duke pride wherever you go? Visit shop.duke.edu, your one-stop online store for all things Duke. From the latest apparel to must-have accessories, Duke University Stores has it all. Whether you're a student, alumni, or fan, shop.duke.edu has something for everyone. Get your hands on exclusive Duke gear today. Shop conveniently online at shop.duke.edu, where real Duke fans shop.
We're back at GRUB with the head coach of the Blue Devils, Kara Lawson. Thanks for joining us tonight here on the Blue Devil Sports Network. It's so great to have you with us. Coach, some of the play, we've been talking about defense. I want to change gears here in a second, but in terms of individual players who you think have maybe stepped up or played really well lately on the defensive end, who is that in your mind?
Well, I would say, Reagan consistently is one of our best defenders and has been since the start of the year. I think that comes with just her experience. She's always been very sound on that end for us. Delaney's become our most consistent defensive forward, and has continued to grow in that space. I think Jaden has the ability to be a devastating defensive force, and she allows us to play different ways because of her versatility. She can guard point guards, she can guard post players. So that versatility is very, very important to us. Alucci, we know how disruptive she can be, and her as our point of attack defender is she's turning into a terrific on-ball defender, one of the best in the conference and one of the best in the country. And then I think Mare has really improved defensively from last year, and so her improvement, I think, has helped us overall, helped us maintain that pressure on the other team's guards throughout.
I want to talk about Mayer for a second. So many players talk about offensively. 13 points on Sunday, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. Last 2 games, 11 assists and just 1 turnover. I know winning is the most important stat from a point guard, but still 11 assists and 1 turnover is getting the job done at a pretty high level.
Yeah, I love where Mare is right now. She's leading our team. She's competitive. She's selfless in terms of finding the right play and getting the ball to the players on the wings and on the interior. And she's just tough. She's tough. Like, she's not really afraid of much. And she loves the big moments. She loves the big games. And she's got an edge to her. And I think our team feeds off of that. I think they feed off of her competitiveness and her emotion, when she's playing at that high level.
She had those 13 points on Sunday, but also hit a couple big dagger threes down the stretch at UVA, too. How much is she kind of learning when to take her shot and when to facilitate to her teammates?
Yeah, I think that's a ever-evolving process, in college for point guards, is understanding when it's a game that you can really get after it and when it's a game that maybe other people have it going or they're playing a certain way. And so I think she's growing in that and is eager to grow in that. I mean, wants the feedback, wants to learn, wants to grow, and that I think has helped us. She is a great scorer. And her scoring has taken a little bit of a backseat this year just because there's been other things that we've needed as a team that's been more pressing. And we have other scorers, too. We have more scorers on our team this year than we had a year ago. And she hasn't, gotten in her feelings about that or been frustrated about that or worried about, numbers being down, which can happen to so many players. And that's just distraction. And when you worry about, numbers, the counting stats in that way, you very rarely reach your potential as a player because you're worried about something that you can't really fully control. And if you try to control it, it'll be worse. If you try to force your way to score more, force your way, it's usually it's going to end badly because the game rewards making the right plays. It just always has. It just rewards that. And so she's just done a great job of staying aggressive, staying confident. And she's going to have games. She has 20 this year. But she's going to have games she has 4. But she's already showing now, with her steals, with her assists, with her rebounds, with her defense, that she can impact winning anyway.
In terms of growing as a point guard, knowing where your players like the ball at, maybe there's a certain spot on the floor where they're feeling it. How much have you seen growth in her game of knowing where her teammates maybe are feeling it or want the ball in terms of the mid-range or whatever it be?
I don't know that we're there yet in terms of I think what we're trying to get our players to see is make accurate passes at the right time based off the action more so than this is where someone likes the ball.
Sure.
If the forward is open on the block, give it to them on time and on target so that they can maintain their position. They don't get pushed off their spot because you threw it far away and they had to go reach for it and now they get pushed. Or their defense is on the high side and so throw the ball to the low side so they can turn and score. Defense is on the high side. You throw the ball to the high side. Well, now you just made it more difficult for them. If a guard is coming off a screen, an off-ball screen, throw it to them where they're going, not where they've been. Just things like that. The accuracy is really important. We're trying to get that down first instead of just saying get Reagan the ball on I'm just making up a spot, a left elbow or something like that. You know, we don't really do that, although we don't have our players decide that. I think that's more of my job as a play caller to make sure that I'm calling actions that gets them in their preferred spots. I don't put that all on them at this stage of their development.
All right, take another time out. We'll come back to GRUB and have more with Coach after this on the Blue Devil Sports Network from Learfield.
Enjoying the game but not the drink being spilled down your back or the foam finger poking you in the face? Well, head to the concession stand, grab a Lindy's Italian Ice, and take a 6-ounce vacation. A 6-ounce cup of lemon Italian Ice will make you feel like you're swaying in a hammock, and the only thing in your face is a cool, salty breeze. And that ought to have you refreshed. Now get your head back in the game and start belting out blue and white with the youthful exuberance of the freshman behind you. Yes, the same one that keeps spilling his drink down your back. Lindy's Italian Ice. Have an ice day.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Oh, what a great camping trip for the Williams family. It was epic, Zach. And this week's MVP was their 2024 Ford Bronco SUV, Matt. Absolutely. It hauled everything and everyone to this great spot by the lake. And get them back in time for the big game. Yeah, let's go! Let's go. With the Ford Bronco or Bronco Sport SUV on your team, it's game on. For the latest offers, go to buyfordnow.com or see your Carolina Ford dealer today.
The passion, the tradition, the rivalries. Sirius XM is your destination for all things college sports, and we've got you covered. On ACC Radio, there is complete coverage of every school in the conference, including live games, coaches' shows, and more. So cheer along on the Sirius XM app and listen to your favorite team anywhere. And now you can get 3 months of Sirius XM free. Subscribe now. See all for details at SiriusXM.com/ACC Sports.
10 years ago, who could have predicted what the internet would bring? Streaming videos, voice assistants, smartphones, smart homes, work from home. But here we are, wondering what the next 10 years will bring. Whatever it brings, Lumos 100% fiber optic internet is ready with incredible speeds and reliability. So you can do more and be more than you ever thought possible on the internet built for the future. Plans start at $50 per month. Learn more at lumosfiber.com/next.
Back at GRUB with the head coach of the Blue Devils, Kara Lawson. Thanks for joining us tonight. Coach, we talked a minute ago about Virginia and those 2 big threes by Mayer down the stretch. Outscored them, I think, 21-12 there in the fourth quarter. Can you speak to the competitiveness and the resiliency that this team has shown all season long?
That was a just a gritty win for us. Virginia's a good team. Mm-hmm. I don't think that should surprise anybody. They're very talented. And for us, coming off the loss on Thursday to now go on the road again, have to battle, be down, battle back, and then ultimately, push ahead at the end. I was just really proud of our team to come out with that win on the road. I think Virginia's going to beat a lot of good teams this year. And, luckily for us, it wasn't that day. And T came up big with 2 threes down the stretch. But there were a lot of people that came up big. I thought Alucci in the second half, in that fourth quarter specifically, was terrific. She just changed the game for us offensively and defensively. I thought Emma had a good stretch in that Virginia game as well, just settling us. And then you mentioned, obviously, Mare late. I thought Vanessa had some critical minutes as well. Made a big 3 in the first half, made a big shot in the lane late in that game. So there was a lot of people that contributed to that one.
How about the way Delaney is playing, too? She had her first double-double of the season, second career on Sunday, went for 12 and 10, did it on 5 of 6 shooting, just more efficient work from Delaney on the offensive end.
Yeah, I mean, I would run out of superlatives if I started talking about Delaney. She's just a force for us on both ends. She's developing into an anchor for us defensively. Very, very complete defensive player. And then offensively, she's just become remarkably efficient. She may have the best shooting percentage on the team now. I think she does. I think she's the most efficient player on the team and just has a great understanding of our concepts. I know when Delaney's out there, it's going to be done right. her role in the offense and defense is going to be done right. And that's very comforting as a coach to have a player out there that you know is going to execute the way that you want to on both ends.
Let's get to some audience questions here tonight from Melissa. It was good to hear Delaney talk about the team being hungry on Sunday. Are you seeing that in practices?
Not today. No, I mean, we weren't good in practice today. I'm not going to lie to you. I told them that. They knew that. You know, I think it's I think by and large they do a pretty good job of coming in daily and giving great effort. I'm not knocking them, but today was not a good practice for us. So I was in a good mood till you asked that question.
Sorry.
But, you know, I think, you know, that's a part of the season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you hate to say, it's just going to happen. Like you're trying to find a way to keep it from happening, but we just weren't real sharp today. And we've got to find a way to be sharper tomorrow and have a good day of preparation before we go to Texas. But I just forgot everything you asked me because you made me mad now.
Sorry, let me ask you a different question.
Okay.
All right. From Andre, who's in our audience tonight, how do you manage your roster, in particular the younger players that see limited action so they don't enter maybe the portal or get upset during the season? That's from Andre, who's in our audience tonight.
Well, I think the best way to interact with your players is to operate in truth. And so there's an expectation level and a standard for them each day that they're expected to reach. And if and when they do not reach it, we let them know that they did not reach it. And over time, the players that meet the standard and meet the expectations daily are the ones that play more. And the ones that don't are the ones that don't. So there's no surprises here. You know, there's no I don't know why I'm not playing. Because you just ask or you just know. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean that people that don't play don't meet the standard and expectation all the time. There's only 5 players on the court, and I have 16 players on the roster. So, but that's kind of what it is. Mm-hmm. It's competitive. It should be on a good team. There's more players than spots, right? There's not enough minutes to go around. So every game, and this is not new because there's a portal. Every game since the creation of basketball, there's been a player wanting to play more at the end of the game than they did. At every level, youth league, the high school, to college, to professional. So that's a part of it. I'm not afraid of that. Mm-hmm. That's just what it is. When I played, there were games I wish I'd have played more, or I thought I should have played more. So I don't coach trying to not have someone go in the portal. Like, I'm not going to coach like that. Mm-hmm. I coach to win. And every decision I make is the decision in that moment that I feel is best for the team. And that's it, right? Now, do I make bad decisions sometimes? Sure. Yeah, 100%. Every game I make bad decisions. But the intention is true, and the intention is clear. It's my job to put the group out there that I feel like gives us the best chance to win. And it's my job to do that over and over and over and over. That's fluid. That group can change through the course of the season. As you see, rotations have changed, things like that. But, yeah, I don't worry about that. You know, it's kind of like, say, like, you can't play scared. Mm-hmm. You can't coach scared. You can't. Or you won't be yourself, mm-hmm. and you won't be at your best. You have to be very, very sure of what you're doing and why you're doing it. So that's how we've built our program. And, it's an open door policy in terms of players wanting to get extra time or get extra film or come talk to any of the coaches about where they can improve. And because I'm not trying to hide where you can improve. Mm-hmm. I want everybody to know, hey, if you can improve in this and this and this, your chances of playing more are there. That's true for every player on our team. The chance is there. But here are the areas you got to improve, and then it's incumbent upon them to go improve them.
Before we wrap up this segment, we're going to have Coach Elsie coming on here in just a second. Obviously, somebody you played with in college, now coaching together. Can you just talk about the relationship you have with Coach Elsie going all the way back?
Yeah, I mean, we've known each other for 25 years and, continued through the course of that time. Obviously, we were teammates in college for a couple years, but always stayed in contact, always stayed in touch with one another through 25 years of life, which I think is really special. And then, had the opportunity to bring her here to be able to impact our players, and her impact was felt immediately in terms of just her personality, her ability to connect with everyone. It's really, really helped change our program for the better, and her connection with the players, with the staff, everybody that she comes into contact with, I think feels her authenticity, feels her genuine love for the sport and for people, and we're a better program because she's in our program, so I'm excited that she's here.
All right, we'll talk to Coach Elsie coming up after this from GRUB on the Blue Devil Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Are you ready to show your Duke pride wherever you go? Visit shop.duke.edu, your one-stop online store for all things Duke. From the latest apparel to must-have accessories, Duke University Stores has it all. Whether you're a student, alumni, or fan, shop.duke.edu has something for everyone. Get your hands on exclusive Duke gear today. Shop conveniently online at shop.duke.edu, where real Duke fans shop.
At Reed's Jewelers, we know that the rules of engagement were made to be broken. So don't settle for the first ring you see in the case. When you put a ring on it, make the moment your own with something that's just as unique as your love. Whether you're going big, keeping it subtle, or finding a happy medium, we're here to help you say I do with a one-of-a-kind design. Because doing things your way is what makes them mean everything. Reed's Jewelers, an official partner of Blue Devil Sports. Visit your local Reed's Jewelers in-store or online at reeds.com to chat with an expert.
I feel happy, Valero Pay Plus app.
I feel happy, it makes savings a snap.
Use it and start saving automatically.
You just save some money, not too shabby.
I feel happy, I'm in and out real fast.
I feel happy, now pit stops are a blast.
Download today and get in on the fun. Valero Pay Plus app, your savings have begun.
We're back at GRUB with the head coach of the Blue Devils, Kara Lawson, and happy to have Coach Kara Elsie joining us here on the show tonight. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Such an honor.
When did you decide that you wanted to be a coach?
Well, the funny thing is I didn't want to coach. I thought I wanted to go to Orlando and work in the wide world of sports at Disney.
Really?
You know, you could be in the sun, the happiest place ever. I was going to be around basketball. And then Coach Summit brought me in the office, and we were talking about, what I wanted next. And she goes, there's a job opening at Virginia Tech. So I was thinking, Blacksburg, Virginia, cold or sun? And she goes, I think you would make a great coach, And so she was like, why don't you try it for a year? So I ended up in Blacksburg, Virginia. And 24 years later, I guess Coach always knows best.
You played for Coach Summit and worked with her, too.
I
so
did.
what was the difference in the relationship with Coach Summit as one of her players and then one of the members of her staff?
Well, you're always a player to coach first. But, playing for her, we've talked about this. Coach and I had the opportunity, which we appreciated, but it's truly a great honor when you realize the icon that she really is. Now, you maybe not always felt that way when you had the stare and you were getting yelled at in practice. But, it was the best experience of my life. Made me grow up and helped me be the woman that I am today. And then to have the opportunity to go back and work with her, she was the head coach emeritus at that time, and she had been diagnosed with early onset. So, it was a second chance to spend with her. And, it was hard at times to see her in that position, but she was still a giver. And that's what makes Coach so special.
What do you remember about those national championship seasons? Is there a game or a memory that stands out when you think about it?
Oh, they're all great. When you win a national championship, I probably would say the 97 season. We had lost 10 games that year. We fell out of the top 25 for the first time, and I don't know how long. And it was rough. And I was a freshman, and literally from Christmas until we won a national championship, she reminded me that we were a 2-guard away from a national championship, and that she had come to LaGrange, Kentucky to recruit me, and she doesn't know why. But she was going to get greatness out of us. And so for us to kind of play all the teams on the back end that we had lost to early, it was truly a fairy tale ending, and you all can watch it on the Cinderella story. They were documenting it, and so it turned out to be really a fairy tale ending.
Give me your favorite coach story from when you guys played together.
I mean, we have so many stories. I think we talked about this already. One, when she came on her official visit, I promise you, we did not think she was coming to Tennessee. She only talked to Tyler Summit for the 48 hours that she was on campus. But then she ended up coming. But, we have great relationships, and we had a lot of fun. But ESPN was her other thing. Anyone that roomed with her, she was going to watch ESPN. No matter if the reel played over 10 times, they're going to watch it. So when she called and said she was going to interview for ESPN, I was like, that is the perfect job for you. I guarantee you no one's going to be better. But also just learn from her competitive spirit. I mean, she's always, how she is now is how she played. Drive to win. And I think you are the first player to get out of study hall your freshman year. Now, all of us, I don't know how she did this. We went for 8 hours.
Okay.
The whole year. Well, our academician over here, straight A's. So I think she wrote a thesis on why she should get out of study hall to Coach Summit. I'm still trying to figure that out. But she got out of study hall. We did not, but I guess that's what straight A's will do for you.
Coach, you want to add it to this?
Well, we had to do 8 hours of study hall for our freshman year. And after my first semester, I had a 4.0. And so I wrote Coach a 3-page letter about why I deserved to be out of study hall. And I used quotes from her books in the letter because I figured, if you can't say no to your own words.
It's true.
And she talked about in her books about how once players showed that they had, they could be trusted with certain things, she would give them, longer leash and things like that. And so I quoted her book and had a works cited page. And then I got out of study hall, and they were so mad.
Yes, very mad.
They were so mad. Oh my gosh, they were like, Coach, this is not fair. Da da da. And they were so mad. And Coach was like, "Did y'all have a 4.0?" And then it was real quiet.
Yeah. No 4.0.
No.
Yeah. So I
great grades, but no 4.0.
Yeah.
That's
so
amazing.
That was great. That's one of my finest achievements.
Back to basketball, though. Just a chance now to play with Coach and now to be on the staff and impacting the next generation of basketball players. How rewarding is that for you?
I mean, this is what we do it for. And, to be here at Duke, it's been such a special memory for me thus far, and to be alongside Coach. I learn from her every day, and, just the energy and passion that she gives and pours into our players, and, wanting them to be their best and the greatness that they have in them. But also, you have a chance in our seat to inspire, impact, and influence. And that's what we do it for. And they teach us every day, even though we're coaching them and teaching them, they teach us every day, and they do keep you young.
Yeah?
Yeah, they keep you young.
Never a dull moment, right?
Never a dull moment.
What's the biggest area of growth you've seen within the sport from your time as a player now to being a coach?
just the skill level. I mean, they're playing pretty much year-round now. When we played, you played AAU, you lose, you go home. Now they might play 100 games over the summer, but, have access to trainers and, their ability to play all the time, I think, has changed it. But then just the caliber of player. I mean, now you're having 6'3" guards, that are versatile, and you're not just set in a position. So the positionless basketball, I think, has really grown our game, and because of that, the exposure that we're now seeing.
Seems like the international impact, too, has really made a difference in positionless basketball.
Absolutely. A lot of our players are playing USA basketball, are coming from FIBA. That's a different style, and so I think that has also helped the game.
Give me maybe an area or two that you see where this team can still grow as we head into the back half of the season.
As a coach, you always are looking to see what you can do better. For me, when I'm standing on the sideline as coach is doing her thing and coaching, I just try to focus on, the small details. Are we boxing out? Do we have someone back and set for transition defense? Are we making our layups? Because those are things that, when it comes down to a 1 or 2 possession game late, we're going to have to do those things and make free throws.
Yeah. We won't talk about the free throws. It's getting better, though.
Hey, it's getting better. Listen, every day you just have to continue to improve.
That's right. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Kyra Elzy joining us on the show tonight. We'll come back and have more with Coach after this on the Blue Devil Sports Network from Learfield.
For any surface and every season, Continental Tire is the smart choice in tires. From ultra-high performance tires like the Extreme Contact Sport 02 to passenger touring tires to all-terrain light truck tires like the Terrain Content AT, Continental has a tire that gives you confidence no matter the road conditions. Whether you're looking for summer, all-season, or winter tires, Continental Tire has something to fit your needs. Visit ContinentalTire.com to find your ideal tire. Continental Tire, a proud partner of the Duke Blue Devils.
Going to hoist up a 3. How about another dagger?
This is Duke head women's basketball coach Kara Lawson. When it comes to keeping our team healthy, we turn to the team at Duke Sports Medicine. They offer full-service sports medicine care at locations throughout the Triangle, where you can see the same experts used by Duke Athletics. Make an appointment or learn more at dukehealth.org/sportsmedicine. Go Duke.
The crowd will rise as one, and what a statement, and what a win.
Think about the last time you moved. Remember how you said you'd never do it alone again? We know moving is tough, but at 2 Men and a Truck, we make it easy. No matter the move, big or small, we'll make it a smooth one. We're the movers who care and will prove it with our 96% referral rate and courteous background check movers. We're local and affordable. We can help at a price that won't make you wish you'd done it on your own. When you're ready, give us a call or find us online for a free estimate at 2menandatruck.com.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletic season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
We're back at GRUB with the head coach of the Blue Devils, Kara Lawson. Thanks so much for being with us. We just had Coach Elzy on the show. I asked her favorite you stories. You have a favorite Coach Elzy story from when you guys were playing together?
I mean, I do, but I'm not going to say it here. And it's not because it's bad, but it was an emotional moment.
Sure.
Yeah, for me with her. But she's always been a great supporter of mine, and I've always appreciated that. But if I tell that story, I'll probably cry, so I don't want to cry right now.
All right, well, let me ask you about the chance to honor Coach Summit this past week for Back Pat Week, and just a chance to be able to honor her and her memory and what she means to the game.
Yeah, she's meant everything to this game. I think she's the most pivotal figure in women's basketball history when you look at what she was able to not just build at Tennessee, but what she represented. She represented so many things during her tenure there. I mean, when she started coaching, most of the coaches coaching women were men. Most of the people getting the best opportunities were men. And she came along in a time where, it was just starting. The NCAA was just starting for women. Obviously, we had the AIAW and we had women's sports before then. But she came along in the foundational period for our sport. And then as it continued to grow, she kind of led the way with her voice and with her program to get more national TV games, to get bigger crowds, to, sell jerseys for women's players. Now it seems stuff that we'd laugh about now, but back then that wasn't happening.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't happening. And so she was a pioneer in a lot of ways. And I think also visually for people, she showed that you could be a female coach and be hard on females, that you could challenge them, that you could yell at them, that you could hold them accountable. And it kind of like smashed a lot of the narratives that existed in our society for decades on, how to coach women, how to challenge women, how tough could a female coach be? I mean, all of these things that kind of sound silly coming out of my mouth right now were real things, were real barriers in society. And so she kind of, kicked them all down. And then that allowed for growth behind her, right? That allowed for other athletic departments to fund women's sports at a higher level. That allowed for other athletic departments to have a female coach. That allowed for networks to put more women's basketball games on television. I mean, when Elsie and I were playing at Tennessee, our arena sat 25,000 people, and we would sell it out. I mean, think about that. 25,000 people for a women's game. Mm-hmm. That was cool in Knoxville. Like we were stars in Knoxville. We'd go anywhere, and people were talking to us or cheering for us, and that's how it was. And so it wasn't like that everywhere, and it's like that more and more now. You see more schools it's like that, and it's great to see. And she, like I said, I think was the front-facing figure of women's basketball and its growth as it exploded.
Well, now we see more growth within the game too, right? We heard about last week the units, and finally for the NCAA tournament. It seems like that, just the growth of the game, creates more opportunities, better television windows, et cetera, just for the game as a whole, doesn't it?
Yeah, listen, the name of the game is growing, your revenue pot as large as it can be, not just for your individual institution, but it's really for your sport. Mm-hmm. In this new environment, the sports that are able to show that they can grow their revenue pot, bring ticket sales, TV ratings, things like that, are the ones that are going to be prioritized. And so that's something that we've always known women's basketball could do, is doing already, and hopefully we'll do more of in the future.
How do we keep Coach Summit's memory alive moving forward?
For me, it's been about keeping her memory alive. Has been about doing the best job that I can as a representative of her as one of her players. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do the best job that I can. I'm not trying to be her, but I'm trying to take the foundational principles that I learned from her and apply them. So it's really kind of what she taught me that I'm trying to teach in other people, and that's how the memory lives on, because the lessons that you learn from the people that impact you, you teach them to other people, and then that's how the memory lives on.
Kind of the same thing that goes along with National Girls and Women in Sport Day that we had on Sunday, and just nice to be able to see all those young boys, young girls that were at the game on Sunday, and sport's been such a big part of so many of our lives too.
Yeah, I mean, the mingle was like packed.
It was. It was great.
Yeah, it was packed, and it was awesome to see so many different kids, little girls, little boys. Obviously, National Girls and Women's in Sports Day. You look at how sports impacts everyone that it touches, but especially young girls. And there was a young boy after the game. He was about 5 years old, and he had gotten the trading cards. And he wanted Mayor's trading card. He didn't get it in his pack.
Ugh.
And so he was upset that he didn't have it. And he had other players, and he really, Mayor is his favorite player. And so I was just telling him that, maybe next time he'll get Mayor in his pack and things like that. And then Mayor walked through the door just by chance.
Yeah.
And he just runs up to her and gives her a big old hug. He just ambushed her. He didn't even say like, "Hey, I'm so and so. You're my favorite player." He just ran into her. And it was cool to see. It's like the impact that our players have in the community. It doesn't even have to be worldwide or nationwide. The impact that they have here in the Durham community for little kids that come to see them play, that aspire, maybe not to be basketball players, but just look up to them because they're playing in front of a great crowd, and they're going to Duke, and they aspire to play at the collegiate level. So that was a cool moment on Sunday that I was just lucky enough to be at the right place at the right time to witness.
What it's all about.
Yeah.
It's awesome. One more time out to Burn. We'll come back and wrap things up with Coach at GRUB here after this on the Blue Devil Sports Network from Learfield.
Whether you're in the market for a new boat or just need service or accessories for an existing boat, turn to Overbee Marine. Now with 2 locations in Kittrell and Lake Gaston, Overbee Marine offers the highest quality of marine products and services, including the latest from Sea Ray, Centurion, Avalon, Bennington, as well as Cobalt boats. Overbee Marine also offers the largest selection of parts in the region, along with full-service facilities at their 2 locations. Stop by or give them a call at 252-586-3593 or online at overbeemarine.com. Overbee Marine. Don't let adventure pass you by.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
I feel happy, Valero Pay Plus app.
I feel happy. It makes savings a snap.
Use it and start saving automatically.
You just save some money, not too shabby.
I feel happy. I'm in and out real fast.
I feel happy. Now pit stops are a blast.
Download today and get in on the fun. Valero Pay Plus app. Your savings have begun.
Oh, what a great camping trip for the Williams family. It was epic, Zach. And this week's MVP was their 2024 Ford Bronco SUV, Matt. Absolutely. It hauled everything and everyone to this great spot by the lake. And get them back in time for the big game.
Yeah, let's go!
Let's go. With the Ford Bronco or Bronco Sport SUV on your team, it's game on. For the latest offers, go to buyfordnow.com or see your Carolina Ford dealer today.
10 years ago, who could have predicted what the internet would bring? Streaming videos, voice assistants, smartphones, smart homes, work from home. But here we are, wondering what the next 10 years will bring. Whatever it brings, Lumos 100% fiber optic internet is ready with incredible speeds and reliability. So you can do more and be more than you ever thought possible on the internet built for the future. Plans start at $50 per month. Learn more at lumosfiber.com/next.
We're back at GRUB to wrap things up with the head coach of the Blue Devils, Carol Lawson, here tonight. All right, Coach, we've buried the lead a lot here. NFL playoffs.
Hey!
Your Commanders in the NFC Championship game against the Eagles on Sunday afternoon. Sunday evening. How we feeling? What we think? We feel good vibes for the Commanders on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, great vibes. I'm excited. Listen, I was thinking about calling the ACC to see if they could move our tip time back.
Yeah.
Earlier. Because we play at 2 and the game starts at 3.
If we played at noon, be perfect.
Yeah. I didn't call them, though.
Okay.
But I it's going to be tough. I might miss the first half.
Calvin from Durham sent in a question tonight.
Lord.
Wants to know if the Commanders make the Super Bowl, are you going to go?
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I can.
We have a 2 o'clock home game that day.
We got to move that tip time.
Yeah, we do.
We got things to work on here.
We sure do.
But I hope I can go. I would love to go to Super Bowl. I like Kendrick Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
Is he performing it?
I believe he is. Yeah.
So, there's a lot of things I could possibly like. But I would only go if the Commanders.
Well, sure.
Yeah, but I don't know that I'll be able to go. I have to check.
Okay.
But that would be great. I've never been to the Super Bowl. I hope to go one day.
Are you one of those, when you watch the Commanders at home, are you yelling at the TV, or are you just kind of passively watching and rooting for your team?
Oh, I usually turn it off. I can barely watch. And then I check the score, and I can't sit watch the whole game. I turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if it starts to go bad.
Right.
And
Because
then
it's your fault. And then, they start winning and you can't watch it.
looking at the phone. I'm like, oh, it's turning back on. It's turning back on. Don't you watch that way?
I do, yeah. Yeah.
And then I come, and it just goes. I mean,
it does.
Most of the time, though, I will admit, I'm sleeping.
Sure.
When they play.
Yeah.
Because they have been having late games. So I only made it to halftime.
Yeah, I didn't make the full game on.
And then I wake up, and before I go to bed, I pray that they win. And then I wake up and I look at the score, and we won. It's unbelievable.
As we wrap it up today, on the road for a couple of tough games at SMU Thursday, at Georgia Tech on Sunday. Give me a couple keys overall just to be successful this week.
Well, our defense has got to remain at a high level. I think that's important. Executing offensively, I think that's an area we can improve in the half court. So I would probably say those two things. Keep our defense at a high level where it's been, and then our execution when we don't have the fast break. Our execution in the half court. Try to continue to improve that.
And be careful going down the stairs and going home tonight with all the snow we got.
I know. Everyone be safe out there.
Yeah.
Drive safely, and go Commanders.
Coach, we'll see you Thursday. That's the head coach of the Blue Devils, Carol Lawson. Thanks for joining us tonight on the Blue Devil Sports Network from Learfield.
Live from GRUB Durham, you've been listening to the Duke Women's Basketball Radio Show. Our coverage of Duke Women's Basketball has been brought to you by Coca-Cola. Crisp, refreshing, and irresistibly tasty. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Blue Devils Sports Network.